Thank you for coming to this Pure Michigan live chat. We have a nice guest of panelists with us here at the Michigan International Speedway. My name is Chad Weebasick. I work with Pure Michigan, and my role is I'm going to be monitoring our Twitter stream and our Google Plus page for fan-submitted questions. And helping us, the host today is Chris Likens from the Michigan International Speedway. Chris, do you want to take a minute to introduce yourself and our guests?
I'm Chris Likens with the Michigan International Speedway on the communications team. I'd like to introduce the driver here, Brad Keselowski, driver number 2, Miller Lite Dodge, and also his crew chief, Paul Wolfe. He's been nice enough to join us as well. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started with some questions, Chad.
So we've had a lot of different questions coming in from Twitter and Google+. One of the first questions is from Tricia, submitted to us from Twitter. Tricia asks, what is Brad's favorite thing to do when he's back in Michigan?
My favorite thing to do? That's tough. See, if you asked Paul last night, he would tell you it's go to Big Boy. So I did last night. I went to Big Boy and had a brawny lad with a strawberry shake, which was delicious. Probably not healthy, but very good. Other than that, obviously seeing my family that are here in the state. Most of them all live still in the same area around Rochester Hills. Some of them in the Clawson area, but Royal Oak area, but all real close and just north of Detroit. So between seeing family and catching up on all those things, there's not much time to do anything else. But when I can, I always try to hit up a Big Boy.
Paul, did you join Brad at Big Boy as well last night?
No, he wasn't able to talk me into it this time, but in the past. But it's a lot of fun coming to Michigan. Obviously, it's a great area of the country, and always enjoy. We got nice weather here, and usually have a great time with the fans here at MIS. There's a lot of great fans usually hanging out on the infield, so it's always a lot of fun.
No, Paul eats too healthy. He won't eat there. I keep trying to tell him they have a salad bar. It's got to be healthy.
We have a next question from Amanda from Google+. This is a question submitted. She wants to know what the preparation is like in the days leading up to the race. And probably, Paul, this is probably a good question for you to tackle.
Sure. Well, we're obviously very busy. The few days we get back at the shop leading up to any race, and usually starts with some sort of a debrief on Monday or Tuesday from the past race to kind of go over how our race went and things we need to do to be better next time, and then we'll shift gears to the week we're heading into, whatever track that may be, and a lot of the engineers do a lot of simulation work leading up to each event, and we'll come up with kind of a plan of different changes that we'll try during practice, depending on how our car is handling and what Brad's looking for. And by the time Thursday rolls around, we're on the team plane and headed to our destination. So seems like we've got a long week, but the days go by quick, and before you know it, you're at the track and turning laps.
Now, Paul, just to follow up, are you working on the MIS car on your side yet, or just the folks back at the shop? Are you and Brad doing anything preparing for MIS in 3 weeks, or not just yet?
Not just yet. Mainly, the car could be any stage from, rolling out of the paint shop to, our assembly area where they'll put all the suspension components and things like that. Now, the race engineers will send out a preliminary build sheet of the components and things we want on the race car, and the guys back at the shop will get that built close. And then from there, they pass it along to the race team guys that travel every weekend, and we'll kind of put the finishing touches. So we won't see that car probably for another week or two, and then we'll get it exactly how we want it before we get here.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So we have a question from Facebook, from a Facebook fan, Greg. wants to know, and this is for you, Brad. Greg wants to know how Twitter was used during the Daytona 500 earlier this year.
How was it used? Well, in a multitude of ways. Twitter's been really embraced by the NASCAR community for several reasons, because prominently it's a great way to get live feedback from our fans and really know how they feel about things. It seems like as the race progresses, there's always that celebration of who's won or maybe a few controversial moments, but sometimes those things get lost among the small things that happen as well. So you want to kind of hear all of it and get all the feedback, and Twitter's a great way to get feedback. Sometimes more feedback than what you bargained for, but that's part of it too. So, for me, it's something that I'm enjoying being a part of, and I think you saw that in the Daytona 500. Obviously, there was a big wreck, and who would ever thought somebody would run into the back of a jet dryer and cause an explosion in the middle of our biggest race of the year, and put it on a couple-hour delay. So, as a driver, I'm no different than the fans. I want to get out there and get going and keep the race going, but that wasn't a possibility. So, to have the opportunity to engage our fans and kind of let them know what the experience is like from my point of view is something that a lot of people embrace. So, obviously I had my phone with me in the car, which was something that Paul later let me know he wasn't very happy about. But
you got busted, right?
Yeah, you get busted. But it's only a little bit of extra weight. It's just an iPhone. But it still was a great opportunity to just talk and have fun with our fans, and I'm thankful I had my phone on me.
And I'm guessing you got some good comments from your fans on this past Saturday after you won the Nationwide Series race.
Yeah, good and bad. There was obviously a little bit of drama with the way it all unfolded with the penalty to the 2 car, who I was racing, and I was in the 22 car on Saturday, not to confuse everybody.
Yeah.
So it ended up being, it's fun either way, and you get some great messages, you get some messages that are not so great, and everything in between. So, that's the part of it. You got to take the good with the bad and just roll with it and realize how lucky you are just to have people that even value and care about what it is that you do.
Kyle from Twitter is asking Paul. Kyle wants to know, why are there not different tires that you can choose from to help adjust the way the car handles?
Well, wouldn't that be nice if we had that option? It's just kind of the way it is. Like here at Michigan today, we've come up here to help Goodyear kind of select the tire for the race weekend, and I guess that's just to keep everybody on equal ground as far as the tire standpoint. We've come up here, and Goodyear will give us some tires that they want to try, that they think might go well with the speeds and the grip level at the racetrack. We'll run different sets across the car, and we'll give them our feedback and data, and then they go back, and all the Goodyear engineers will decide on what they feel will put on the best race for the fans, and that's usually what tire they try to give us when we come back. So definitely don't see that being an option for us anytime soon, but Goodyear seems to do a good job at giving us the best tire they think will put on the best race.
And Brad, how important was today's seat time for the race in 3 weeks? I mean, yeah, you're out there, testing the tire, but you're also getting more track time, for the race coming up.
Absolutely. Well, track time in the sport is extremely valuable because you look at the cars, and over the years they continue to change and develop new parts and pieces that make them faster and hopefully handle a little bit better and do all the things it takes to win. So, the more track time you have, the more opportunities you have to prove that out, not just for yourself, but for the team. As a driver, I want to know, can I drive in the corner a little bit deeper? Can I be a little more aggressive with it when I turn it down in? And can I get to the throttle a little bit harder? And those experiences are great. They help you kind of build up a data set that you can use in the races. So that's important, but being able to give that feedback to your team so that they can help put those parts together in the right combination, because it's like baking a cake. You have to have all the right ingredients, and they have to be just the right amount, but you also have to mix them in the right way, otherwise cake doesn't grow, so it doesn't bake right. But it's the same thing on a race car, and so as a driver, it's my job to make sure that I give them feedback on all those ingredients so the car can be as fast as possible, and we can have the best shot at winning. So, having that extra track time is important for both me and the team, and we're glad to have it here today at Michigan International Raceway, or Michigan International Speedway.
Well, speaking of cakes, Paul, you've baked 3 cakes this year. You gonna bake up a 4th cake here for Brad at Michigan International Speedway here on August 19th?
We're sure trying hard. It's it's been a great season up to this point, and the more wins we can get, the better shape we'll be as we start the chase out. And obviously that's kind of one of our goals right now is continue to figure out how to get to victory lane to get those bonus points. And today was definitely a good day for us. Just to touch on what Brad was saying, the other thing too, when we come to tests like this, we're allowed to have data acquisition on the car. So there's a lot of things we can see or understand what the car is doing that typically, on a race weekend you can't learn or don't know. It's all off of what the driver says. So it's important to be able to have these days and have the computer systems hooked up to the cars to better understand what exactly is going on to make our race cars better and find ourselves in victory lane some more.
Great. Chad, you got another question for her?
Yeah, so this question just came in. It's for both Paul and Brad. Amanda from Google Plus wants to know what preparation is like in the days leading up to a race.
Well, preparation for me is a lot of stuff for the fans. We do a lot of fan things to try and make sure that our sponsors and so forth can get their chance to be with the fans. So that might do some Miller appearances, which might be at a local bar or something of that nature, and hang out with fans. And then we might do some things for NASCAR, and obviously there might be testing the week of, just like we have here today at Michigan. So, it can be a lot of different things. It can also be media. So every week is just a little bit different for me. And as much as I'd like to say there's a routine, but there usually isn't. It usually goes a little bit different every week, which can be both good and bad. But some weeks are very hectic like this one, and some, we get some time to enjoy as a driver the moments off. So I tell people all the time that Tuesdays and Wednesdays are kind of like my Saturday and Sunday, and so it's a little bit different. And people will kind of make fun of me because I'll stay out late on Tuesdays or Wednesdays and get up late. That happens a lot the next day, but I enjoy it. That's my Saturday and Sunday. So that's kind of the early part of the week. And once we get to the racetrack, so we do the appearances for the fans and so forth, and try to get ready for practice. But for me, I try not to do too much. I got my own little physical training regimen, but I don't really like to share that, so I'll stay away from that. But I think Paul's got his own stuff he does too, and that's top secret. So I can't spill the beans for him.
Paul, do you get some time off during the week, or is it pretty much during the season and even really in the off season? Is it 7 days a week for you, or do you get some half days, or how is it from the crew chief side?
It's pretty hectic during the season. Typically for the normal schedule, Thursdays is the day that the race teams will travel to the event, and usually we try to take a little time on Thursday to get caught up on things at home or just relax a little bit or whatever that may be. So we do get a little time. We have a great structure back at Penske Racing, the processes that are in place to build the cars and have them prepared, for the race team guys that travel every week with it. So we'll spend a couple days on it, putting the final touches on it before it goes on the hauler to head to the racetrack, and then at that point, the guys get a little time off before we head to the track.
Okay, Chad, you got some more questions? We got time for a couple more.
Yeah, John from Twitter wants to know if there are, besides NASCAR, obviously, if there are other sports that Brad is interested in.
Yes, absolutely. Michigan football. I'm a huge Michigan football fan, and they're not far from here. So being out of Ann Arbor, the racetrack is about an hour away. So the last few years I've been able to go check out practice, and hopefully I'll be able to make time to do that again this year. And I've always been a big fan. But also the Detroit Red Wings. So we've had some great experiences with them. We had Nicholas Lindstrom at the track 2 years ago, 2010 I believe it was, and he was a great guy, and it's cool to get to meet him, and you think back to everything he's done for the Detroit community and the Red Wings, and just a solid person. And I also got to meet goaltender Jimmy Howard, so that was awesome. Two great people. So Those are probably the two that I follow the most. As the Lions start to be a little bit more successful, I'm turning into a bit of a fair weather fan, but that's okay too. I still have a deep appreciation for Detroit sports.
Paul, and yourself, do you follow any other sports or any other hobbies you like to do?
Yeah, I enjoy watching NFL football a little bit. Definitely a lot of fun to do that, and I like doing some snowmobiling in the wintertime when I get an opportunity to head up north. And I haven't had the opportunity to come to Michigan to do that. I hear there's a lot of great snowmobiling in Upper Michigan, and it's definitely something I'd like to do here in the near future.
We could try and arrange that for you, I'm sure, Chad, right? We can, Brad, have you been on a snowmobile? Going to come up for
I actually have a great story about snowmobiles. My dad put me on a snowmobile when I was 4 or 5 years old, and some would say, much like I drive today, I hit everything there was to hit. I'll never forget, I drove right through a fence the first time. I was on I can't remember what they called it. It was like a kitty cat, something like that, snowmobile. It was a little tiny one, and I took off right out of the backyard, full throttle as fast as I could, wide open, and drove right through a fence. So that was my first snowmobiling experience. I'll never forget that. And believe me, neither will my parents. They bring that up every time I act smarter than I am. But that's all part of growing up and all part of a Michigan lifestyle. And snowmobiles were certainly a large part of my family. Thankfully, none of us have been seriously hurt on them, but it's a lot of fun to do.
All right, we'll see what we can arrange this off-season here. Maybe after, Homestead Miami Speedway, possibly bringing home a championship, once you make the chase here, which I did look on NASCAR today, said 99.9% likelihood of making the chase.
Yes, that's good. I like that. That's great odds, right?
Yeah. Okay, Chad, we got time for one more question here before we wrap stuff up.
So the last question is from Jennifer. She asked this on Twitter. She wants to know what some of Paul and Brad's favorite leisure time activities are in your downtime when you're not racing. What do you like to do?
Maybe on the road, what do you guys do, when you're killing time traveling? Because you guys travel so much, obviously from track to track.
Well, I know Paul and I together have done some mountain biking, and he's really good at it, so it makes me look bad. I got a lot of work to do to try to keep up with him, so I think he soft pedals a little bit to make me feel a little bit better, build my confidence. But and that's some things that we've done together. I have some other interests. Obviously, I love playing video games. I love Twitter. I don't know if that counts. That's kind of a leisure time activity. And I like to sleep a lot, so I think that should count, definitely.
Paul?
Yeah, Brad touched on mountain biking. I really enjoy doing that. It's a lot of fun, and a way I try to stay fit to get on the mountain bike whenever I can. As well as spending some time on the lake on the boat is a lot of fun in the summer to stay cool. And like I said before, snowmobiling is definitely my sport that I like to do in the off season. So I've got a few things, but obviously racing keeps us busy, and it's as much fun as anything else we do, especially when we're winning races. Wouldn't want to be doing anything else but to be at the racetrack.
Any activity we can enjoy legally while drinking beer is usually a good one. So we try to stick to those legally. That's for the attorneys that might be watching.
And it seems like everything that goes fast, whether it's motorbikes, dirt bikes, snowmobiles.
Well, fast or loud. We like loud, too.
Okay.
Fast, loud, or drinking.
Okay.
So those are pretty good rules of thumbs. I've gotten into shooting, so I got a couple of rifles, and I enjoy that a lot. So, it's good.
All right, Brad, we'll send it back to you here real quick for some closing comments on, coming out for the Pure Michigan 400 on August 19th, and what fans can expect, from your Miller Lite Dodge.
Well, looking forward to coming back, obviously, and kind of playing off of our run here in the spring. I felt like we were a pretty strong car, and we kind of got caught out on the whole pit cycle thing when we had some tire issues on the Miller Lite Dodge like you talked about. So we were able to drive back through the field, and I can't remember if we finished 12th or 13th, somewhere around that range, but I felt like we were a top 5 car. I feel like we can also add a little bit more speed to our car and hopefully be able to close out to be a winning car. So we know we've got work to do to make that happen. I know coming back to Michigan It's an important race, not just for me personally, but for all of Penske Racing, being headquartered out of here with Penske Corp. So that's a huge deal for Roger and himself. And I know we also have a brand new car coming back here. So I'm looking forward to all those things. And I think they can get us that little bit extra it's going to take for us to be able to close out and go from that third place finish we had here last fall to hopefully 2 spots better and being in Victor's Circle. So I'm looking forward to it.
Great. And Paul?
Yeah, we're obviously, like Brad said, we felt like we had a good car last race here, and since then we've continued to build on our race cars, and I think the car we had at Indy this past weekend was one of our new spec cars, and we plan to bring a similar car back here to Michigan and look through some of the things we learned today, and we got to find a little more speed, and hopefully we can find ourselves in victory lane.
All right, everybody, I'd like to thank all the fans that joined us out there today. If you don't have tickets already, you can get them at mispeedway.com or call 800-354-1010. Once again, 800-354-1010. We'd love to have you out here for the race. Cheer Brad on to victory as he goes for the chase and obviously the championship at Homestead in November. And Chad, I'll throw it back to you to close us out.
Well, thank you, Brad and Paul and Chris for joining us, and we'll see you August 19th at the race.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks. Bye-bye.